Hi, this is Don from the future, aka the Don that's editing this video and not actually doing this interview, as this interview has already finished. This interview was taking place on January 27th between myself and Jade Jackson, somebody who I'm very happy to have had as the first guest. Before we get into this, I do want to put a disclaimer that at one point in this interview, there's going to be some more sensitive stuff being talked about. This was something that she did want to talk about. We talked about it beforehand, but I will say that it is a very sensitive topic, so I will put a timestamp in the video where you could be able to skip that question when it comes up. Again, when that comes up, you'll see a timestamp, so you can skip over that if you'd rather not hear what is talked about. It does talk about some more personal matters, you get the idea. Either way, that's just a disclaimer. Otherwise, enjoy the interview. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the A2 podcast. My name is Don, or you might know me as Travis Marks on Axis Wrestling or Artemis Wrestling very soon. Or some of you might know me as Don Frost, the owner of the A2 Network. But out of character, it's Don or Donovan, whichever you want to call me. Most people call me Don. Either way, welcome to the episode 1 of the A2 podcast. This is a special podcast that I will be getting to interview members of the roster as well as members of the community. And tonight, I got a very, very special guest, one of my closest friends in this community, and somebody who I feel has had quite the year, both in character and out of character. She's gained a lot of popularity last year in 2021, and 2022, it's only looking to get much better. And this podcast, it's a chance where you people will get to know more about the character as well as know about the creator. So right now, I wanted to welcome in my best friend, the Psycho, or some of you might just know her as Psycho Jade, but here in Axis / Artemis Wrestling, she's known as the Psycho Jade Jackson. How's it going, Jade?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. So, obviously, a lot of people know you. For those who somehow don't know you, what some things that you could say to help people know like who exactly is the Psycho Jade Jackson?
Good question. Well, out of character, I should say that I'm completely a different person from my in character. I have a very positive, bubbly personality, and I always had that. I may have my ups and downs, but I usually do what makes me happy.
Yeah, like
In character.
No, go ahead.
And in character, people see me as this, may say, bully in the room.
Very big bully.
Yeah, at 6'3". Yeah, let's just say you never want to piss me off in the room.
I actually kind of wanted to bring that up quickly, like something that is kind of actually very, very quickly. Obviously, Jade's not your only cause. Who are the other cause that you have?
I have a named Paulina for short.
Yeah, Paulina.
Yeah, Paulina by short.
Yeah, I only said that because there was mic issues on your end, so I was just mostly saying that in case people didn't hear.
She is the in character Psycho Jade, as if people don't know that. And I have a few others, but they will remain anonymous.
So Jade and Apollina are the only ones you're willing to let people know about.
Well, yeah, to acknowledge right now.
That's fair. That's fair. Something that I did notice with most of the characters, though, a lot of them are very tall. Is there like a specific reason for that?
No, maybe.
Oh my god.
Me feel taller because I'm not that tall in real life. But
I'm not a very tall person either, so you're good.
it makes me like I just feel more comfortable with like making my collar taller than I actually am.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, like I'm one to talk as well. Like I'm 5'6" out of character, and in character, Dawn's 6'5", Midas is 6'7", and Amelia is the only one that's close to my height. She's like 5'8". So I mean, yeah, I'm one to talk.
You're making fun of me when you also have short calls.
Yeah, whatever. Shut up. But yeah, I also kind of have to agree with that. Like I hang out with you a lot in VCs and all that, and like in character, Jade's portrayed as like this very dark character, or like a very sinister character, like not necessarily like evil or anything like that, just more like I guess the word would be like unhinged or something like that. Like, would that be a good word to describe her?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but
she can be very unhinged.
but out of character,
especially if she's backed into a corner.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's when the psycho actually comes out, the psychotic monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, but out of character though, you're like one
very shy person.
Very shy, but also extremely nice. Like very, very kind, very sweet, and just overall a really, really great person to be around. I'm one to attest for that. Very, very nice.
Yeah.
But also very mean at times.
Oh, shut up.
You throw bricks at me all the time, alright?
Not all the time.
It's funny because like our friendship, it mostly just started with us just making fun of each other, just poking fun at each other all the time.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. So I guess we can probably get to a community question. Like, obviously, earlier today, at the time of this recording, which is January 27th, it's probably going to be like February or whatever when this podcast actually comes out. But I did go on Twitter on the A2 account and ask you guys like to ask some questions for Jade to answer. I feel like this is a very easy one to start out with. Obviously, it's from John, our good friend at GTT. Go to Tournament Temple. John, if you say anything, I'm going to hurt you. So he asked that you had goals and you surpassed through a lot of them, which is true. Like 2021, it was a big year for you. So like,
yeah.
But it's not necessarily like what goals you have. It's do you still have any more goals in your career? Like anything that is like still on your list that you want to complete before you end up like hanging up the virtual boots and all that.
Yeah, I still have a few goals in mind that I want to accomplish this year.
Is there any that you want to talk about right now?
Maybe there's one title I want to specifically go for in GTT actually.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the World Championship title.
Oh, that's gonna be interesting if you do go after that this year. Which honestly, I'm kind of hoping that's a bit sooner rather than later. But obviously, that's not up to me. That's up to the.
That's up to me.
Yeah, that's up to you and John. I almost like when I was saying that, I just realized like you're part of the team.
Yes.
How is it in GTT, by the way, like being a part of the management team and all that?
I really like it because I'm still learning the so
I think you might have. I think your audio might have cut out right there.
So
Yeah. Well, like as far as management stuff goes, like obviously you have GTT, that's not going away anytime soon. Like, is there any possibility you would want to expand a bit as far as like management stuff goes, like potentially like help out with other companies and such?
I would like that. It would just like help me expand that role more.
It would probably just like depend on the company though, right?
Yeah, and if they're willing to take me in.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would want to. But again, like it's like a company by company thing, like a case by case thing. It's not just like, hey, you can come in and you can be a part of management. Like it's kind of like you need to consider it.
Oh yeah, and earn trust as well.
Yeah. So this one was asked by CG. This one might be a little difficult. I don't know. Favorite maneuver to see Jade use against an opponent in a match? Like what's your favorite move that you like to see Jade do?
That's a good question. Favorite maneuver. I think it'd be using vindication.
Oh, the APH's own move?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my god.
Now maybe like I would like another move on my own though. Like me.
Why don't we actually talk about APH for a little bit? Because obviously you have the big feud with him over at Axis. A lot of people were really enjoying that, and it kind of I don't even know if I want to say it ended at World War X, because it kind of seems like with what we saw, it's kind of like you guys got a little unfinished business now.
Wow. You could say it's unfinished, but I'd rather people see it than explain it.
Yeah.
There's more story to it, and I think actions speak louder than words.
That's fair. Well, we don't have to focus on the future of the feud, but what about like how the feud came together? Like, how did you and APH come up with what we've already seen?
Some people know, in character that Jade is best friends with Chris Midas, and when I saw when APH and him were fighting, and then happened at the end, he left Axis.
Yeah, a lot of some people didn't like that.
Yeah, Jade, me specifically as Jade, didn't like that.
Yeah.
And then, so that pushed me to a limit, and then what made it happen is when he attacked Lena, of all people.
That was surprisingly enough. I'm not sure if a lot of people know about this one. APH attacking Lena, that was actually your idea, wasn't it?
And that fact it was my idea.
Like, you would probably think, like, some people might think, oh, that must have been APH's idea, or that must have been my idea. No, that was all your idea right there for Lena to get attacked. Like, what made you come up with that idea?
Well, in character, Jade is really protective of Lena because it's her daughter, and
Yeah, of course. I think that could pretty much be like with almost any parent.
yeah, and and I think it was just a good message like for APH to like go after Lena to send a clear message to Jade of all people, and
And
then
that was in. And later that night, Jade ended up
yeah,
going right after APH after he. It was Jade. I can't even remember the full thing. No. I think it was that night. It was Jade ended up getting APH distracted or whatever, and then she assaulted him afterward. Or no. She assaulted him afterwards, and then it was Night City Madness where Jade ended up costing APH the match and then attacking him
yeah,
afterwards.
yeah, and then that's how it led to the no purge rules at all.
Yeah, that was something that was sort of like on the fly. Like it wasn't
Yeah,
really discussed beforehand that it would be a purge rules match, but when it came to, because I know that some people were caught off guard by that, especially like management. That was not talked about with management beforehand. I'm gonna say that right now. That was me that decided that. I didn't talk to you about it. I didn't talk to APH about it. I just said, because I knew APH was gonna record the match at World War X. I just went on the air and I straight up said, okay, you know what? You want to keep talking like that? It's a purge rules match now. Have fun.
well, you have your cat like hit talking
But
to each other and like
yeah, but at the same time, when we look at it, it was kind of like afterwards we kind of looked back at it and we were just like, yeah, this is kind of the right choice.
yeah,
It wasn't talked about beforehand, but it was the right choice because the match was leading, like the whole feud was kind of leading to that, where it had to be a match that didn't have any rules. And
yeah. And this type of match had a story in it, like how Jade and APH told, you
yeah,
know.
and I think it's kind of safe to say, holy hell, that match delivered.
It really did.
Was there was there any spots in that match that like you came up with, or was it like all APH?
I did come up with one, and it was it's a bit shocker, but it was the flaming table spot.
Oh, I was kind of hoping that was your idea because that
Well,
that was one of my favorite moments. Just seeing that, I'm like, oh my god, oh god, that looks brutal.
it was supposed to be me that was supposed to go through it, but um, I think APH going through was the better storytelling because of how like
What
Jade played it off. Like
what did
he put
APH?
Jade, hmm?
No, go ahead.
Like how APH put Jade through the announcer table, and then the lights went out,
Yeah.
and then she appeared, and then put him through the table, the
W-
flaming table.
Was it APH's idea at first to have Jade go through the flaming table, or was
Yeah,
that your?
it was, no, it was APH.
Did you have to convince him to have it be him to go through it, or was
Yeah,
it just how was that easy?
kind of difficult, but I eventually convinced him.
What, you threw a brick at him? You threw bricks at him until he agreed?
Kept bugging him until I convinced him.
That sounds reasonable. Okay, so this one is from your best friend Jane Rage. Um, also at this time the EWTB Women's Champion. So shout out to her. How did you feel when you got signed to your first company, and what was that company? I'm pretty sure you told me before that was GTT, right?
Yes, it was. It
How
was GTP.
how did it feel like signing there and all that?
Um, at first I was really nervous because this is when I first started car, and I didn't know what I was doing.
I think that could be said with like
And it,
99% of
yeah.
people that start out in call. Like I didn't even know what I was doing at first. And I
Well,
sucked.
I didn't. Well, I didn't have a lot of friends in car at the time. It was only John at the time, and then like it was on my way out of car actually, and and John convinced me to stay. That's how I ended up in GTT.
That's understandable.
So I don't really thank him for saving my car career.
John's that awesome. He's goated.
Yeah, he is. He really
And I
is.
know he's gonna be going on Twitter saying like, "I'm not goated." John, shut the hell up! I already know you're gonna be saying that.
Right.
Like, no.
Right.
All right. So we were talking a little bit about Jade in character, but
Yeah.
I'm sure some people might want to know about the person behind the character, like you as a person. Like obviously we did talk about how you're not necessarily who you present yourself on screen. Like you're a very nice, very shy person, which that's totally understandable.
Yeah.
Like, is there anything that you like to do, like outside of like being the psycho and just causing havoc, like off screen, like off screen and all that? Like, is there anything that you enjoy doing?
Uh, who plays certain video games out of character? Well,
I want to say it, but I know you're gonna hate me for saying it.
yes, I play Smite.
You already knew I was gonna mention
Yeah,
Smite.
yeah, yeah.
that
I
that
play Smite.
that's the game you play the most, isn't
One of the most, yes.
it? Who do you main on Smite?
I know some people are probably gonna hate this, but I'm a Nox main. She's a mage in the game.
I mean, I feel like it's not as bad as what I would say. I main a mirror.
Why did it be so cold, man? Why?
What? Okay, yeah, I know. My last character's name's Frost, and I play as an ice god. I know. I'm a cold guy. But what? Well, other than Smite and playing as Nox, like what else do you like to do?
Uh, I like listening to music. As my hidden talent, I should say. Uh, I write stories sometimes.
Oh, what kind of stories?
Like some personal stories most of the time.
Hmm. Any horror stories?
Uh, Surprisingly, no.
Is it okay if we say that like very surprising fact about you compared to how you portray your
Yeah, go
character?
ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
yeah, because you mentioned this to me before. This is probably the most interesting thing that I heard that made me just go like, what? The fact that your character is horror inspired, and yet
Yeah, I'm not a fan of
you
horror.
hate horror.
Yeah.
Why is that? And I'm actually kind of curious, like what. Actually, we could probably talk about that question a little bit later. But why do you hate horror but still made a horror inspired character?
I'm not really a huge fan of horror, but like I've always wanted like my pod to be like this horror, unhinged character, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, Hi, Editor Don here. So, for those watching live on the premiere, welcome. Thank you for listening in and tuning in. I will say right now that this part of the interview is the one that I put the disclaimer for. It touches up on some sensitive stuff. So if you prefer not to hear that, if you're watching live on the premiere, you can mute the video. You can mute the video right now, and I will put a symbol where you can be able to unmute and enjoy the rest of the interview. But if you're not watching on the premiere and you're watching the VOD of this, thank you for watching, and here's a timestamp to be able to skip this part of the interview. Otherwise, thank you for watching. So this is a question that we both saw and we did talk about beforehand. I know it was a question that you were interested in answering it, but it was a little bit more personal for you. It was from Aiden Robinson. Obviously we know about Psycho Jade and the Psycho Jade Jackson, but what exactly inspired the idea of the Psycho persona?
So, Psycho persona really comes from like my personal OOC side. Basically, I had to deal with like inner demons that I personally have. And always thought it'd be an interesting to put it as my character to see how it played out if it did take over my mind, you know?
Yeah, that's totally understandable right there. But what this is a question from myself. Do you feel like the persona kind of evolved over time to kind of sort of move away from that a bit, or is that something that you kind of wanted to keep like that?
I say it's grown more, like it's grown to be like part of it is still there, but as I've seen it, it's grown more and more of how I not as me out of character. It's like
Your own character now, instead of like,
yeah,
if that makes sense. Like you kind of evolved it yourself, or you just let her evolve over time and you just got to watch it and just enjoy it. Well,
yeah.
Well, I think one side of that I'm sure a lot of people have been enjoying has been the side of Jade that we see in Axis and soon Artemis now. That's going to lead me to the next question from Adam Rage. We'll get to the first question he had, because I know that you hated seeing when he asked the first one, so I'm going to ask the second one first. How'd you come to make the Psycho Jade Jackson?
How did I become? Well, in character, people don't know. She is happily married to first name Alan Jackson. That's how she got that last name. And the Psycho I just added that to her name. Like it's actually you who came up with that name.
I started introducing her as the Psycho Jade Jackson because I felt like she's been getting introduced as Jade Jackson more, and in Access it was kind of evolving where it was like we weren't necessarily seeing Psycho Jade anymore. We were just seeing like a more, not really the human side of Jade. It was more so just like more human than Psycho,
portray.
if that makes sense. Like a more normal side of her.
Yeah, like it's like half normal Jade,
So,
half Psycho.
yeah, so it was
So
like I can't keep calling her Psycho Jade if she's not really Psycho. So
yeah,
I just decided, like, you know what? I'm just going to start calling her the Psycho Jade Jackson. Like, I'm sure she'd be fine with it. And sure enough, like, we talked about it, and you were perfectly fine with it,
yeah,
and it
like
kind of it worked.
it's stuck as the nickname now.
Yeah, and a lot of people like it because it shows like it's two different sides. There's the Psycho, there's Jade Jackson, where she's still a bully. She's still tough as nails, but it's a more normal side of her. It's the persona that a lot of people have kind of gotten used to in a lot of different places now, like Axis, LGF, GTT. They're seeing a lot less of the Psycho side of her, because the psychotic monster, Psycho Jade, like when you see that side,
Yeah.
like, oh, things are about to go down. Like things are gonna get serious. Like when people saw that side of her at World War X, they were like, oh boy, oh boy. Speaking of LGF, there was a feud that I know a lot of people liked, and I'm sure you liked it as well. It was a feud that went on for quite a while. It was between you and another resident psycho in LGF, Priscilla.
I absolutely like it's one of my favorite rivalries because I'm but really interesting because like um there's a it was a big story behind it, like how Jade always wanted to go after the world title. She had to be put to test by Priscilla to go after that title.
Yeah.
And like she even brought out like the full normal side of Jade that not many people will remember. Cause like I used to have normal Jade for Psycho Jade.
Yeah, before the Psycho actually came out.
Yeah.
With that match, because you two had a ton of matches together, is there one match in that feud in particular that you really enjoyed?
I would say the Cycles Ball that we had. So intense that both of us both of ourselves got cut open during that match.
That was very fun to watch.
It was a really good match, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that's gonna move over to the next question I was gonna ask, and that's the question that you hated. You hated when Richie and Adam asked you this, and I'm gonna ask them both together because I guess it's pretty much gonna coincide with each other. Favorite feud that you've had and favorite match that you've had?
For favorite feud, there's multiple. Like my feud against Troy Evans, that was an LGF at Royal Showdown. There was in GTT where it was me versus Amber for the Monarchs Championship title. There was me and Priscilla at when we had the Psycho's Ball match.
And pretty much every other match alongside that.
Yeah, and like my match against APH at X is up there.
Yeah, there was and the craziest thing is most of those feuds were all from last year. Like last year was, it was basically your year.
Yeah, it was a big year for me last year.
Yeah, you even got voted the breakout. I'm pretty sure it was breakout star for the EWTB awards. Like a lot of co-winner with Julia Bullock.
Yeah, I was not expecting.
How did you feel about winning that award? Like being being a co-award winner with Julia, like how did all that feel?
Like I felt really happy because um it made people see that I put in the work and like people could see potential in me to do things next season, you know?
Yeah, a lot. It showed like that was the year that you broke out, and now I think people are kind of expecting you to have an even better year this year.
Yeah,
Like win the world titles, win the big championships, get the big matches, but
yeah,
and just overall like be the absolute best that you could possibly be, even better than last year. Like last year, people saw the growth, and now this year, people kind of want to see what.
more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they and I personally feel like you could deliver on that. Is that something that you personally feel like is something that you can be able to accomplish, though?
Yes, I do actually. Cause I want to outshine my year season, you know? I want to like bring out more this you know?
Right, right, and that's totally understandable. I know that there's a lot of people that say they want to be able to do that, and there's only a select few that really like shine those years. Like everybody says like this is gonna be my year. I even say that, but there's only like a very small handful of people that
My
can
advice is,
truly say it.
yeah, my advice is just don't give up and keep fighting for it, you
Yeah.
know?
Honestly, I feel like some advice that I could be able to give as well. Don't be afraid to change. Because like I don't think a lot of people were expecting you to have Psycho Jade and then become Jade Jackson. Like that kind of like
Uh,
became a natural thing, and you let it happen. Like you weren't afraid to make that change where it was like a more normal side of Jade, as well as kind of making Psycho Jade a more special, like a special attraction to see kind of. Like
yeah.
I'm not sure if that's a good description of it, but it's like when you bring out that side, that's when like you gotta tune in to see it.
Yeah. And you psychotic monster, I want to keep it at the for the big moments when it's the right time, you know? So there's more of a story behind it
Right.
than just, you know.
Well, speaking of change and all that, this is another thing that we were talking a lot about beforehand. Something that I'm sure a lot of people will notice, like if they pay attention to your character, there's one thing that's always consistent, like no matter what side of Jade is shown, the one thing that's always consistent is the armband that she wears. And obviously I'm sure there's plenty of people that see that and usually wonder what it's about. I know what the story behind it. And it's totally fine if you don't want to go into full detail about it. I'm not going to force you or anything like that, but would like for the people that want to know like what the armband is about, would are you fine with telling them about that?
Well, the item that she wears, there's a special name on it. His name is Eve Ganny. Um, he's a really close friend of mine that was had a rough time, and he's just a really good friend of mine that I want to pay tribute to, you know, because of our friendship, you know, because
Yeah.
he's yeah,
And and obviously like pretty much what people could expect is no matter what, like no matter what gear you make, no matter what's that armband is always going to stay. Like
yeah,
even if you want somebody to make an attire for Jade, like I'm pretty sure you said it before, like if somebody makes an attire for you and they take that armband off, like you're never going to use that attire.
Yeah, if
Because
it has, like, because that's the most personal thing for me, and I want that to stay in the look. And if it's not, then I don't want it, you know?
yeah, like it's a personal thing like it's a personal choice for you. Like
Yeah,
it's something that you put on there for a very specific reason, and you don't want to take it off for that reason, and that's totally
yeah.
understandable. Well, moving on. I actually got to see if we have any more questions. I think we might have, but I do have to check very quickly. Okay, this is another question that Rage asked. I'm gonna put the slight joke there. Also, what is your favorite tag team, and why is it Parish? Which, by the way, for those people who haven't seen, Parish is the faction that you're part of in WPW.
Yes. It's the show that EPH.
Yeah, I also got a question from APH. You can think about the tag team one very quickly. Because APH wanted me to ask this. Your favorite cheese?
Of course he did.
Yeah.
I like all flavors of cheese. How about that?
Wow.
Except for blue cheese.
You're one of those
Yeah,
people just like, oh,
yeah,
I like all of them. I can't
yeah.
choose one.
I don't like blue cheese. That's the only cheese I don't.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I knew he was sex.
Oh my god. All right, but back to the tag team question.
Why?
Even if you have multiple ones, though.
So is it Paris in WPW? Well, I wanted to team with Jane and Adam Rage, and because of their psycho gimmick as well. Well, demon gimmick plus with Jane and the psycho gimmick with Rage, Adam Rage.
Yeah, and you got
I just yeah,
your psycho buddy and your psycho sister, as you call them.
yeah, yeah. And I just feel like that Jade like fit in that tag team, because like the psycho and you
Yeah.
know,
Like if there would be a good IRL comparison, the easiest one is Decay with Rosemary
yeah,
and Jessica
have it,
Havoc.
yeah,
Was
for
there
sure.
was there like was that like always the inspiration for them, or was that something that you guys had to come up with?
Uh, it's always been the inspiration because like I see Jade as like Havoc. She's the tall one.
That's the description. That's the comparison. It's not they're both unhinged. They're both psychos. No, it's they're
No,
tall.
no. I just feel like with Rosemary, it suits Jade more.
Yeah,
You know,
I could definitely see
so
that.
and then there's Adam, that's
Crazy Steve.
crazy. Yeah, who's the manager, but
But
Crazy Steve.
yeah,
Okay,
but he also like is
Paris.
kind of solo as well.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of WPW, um,
Yeah.
yeah, um, the finals, the whole tournament, the fact that we actually got to see two best friends in character and out of character going at it
Yeah.
between how did that whole thing feel? Like obviously um we kind of knew about it. It was something that we were both looking forward to. Like we watched the finals and all that stuff happened, and it was
Um,
great.
yeah, it was just a great story, like a great match. Cause like you said, we're best friends out of character and
Yeah.
in character, and
In character, they're very very close friends, and out of character,
yeah,
also very, very close friends. So, you know, it's like when you have your best friend and you're in a feud with them, you know, like this is gonna be good because
Yeah, and then
we
like,
know what to talk about, what to
yeah,
expect, and how just overall how the whole thing's going to be going.
yeah, and I like, and plus, I knew it was gonna be a good match anyway, because like we know each like our characters know each other, like how we fight and like stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, like APH, he tries to do an amazing job at protecting the death by elbow, but when it comes to Jade, like she
Yeah,
knows it. She knows
yeah,
how
she knows
to how to take it.
camera.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like count how to counter it, how to kick out of it. Like she's not going to go down that easily. Like you can tell
no,
she studies her best friend. Just like on
yeah,
the other side, Midas studies his best friend.
yeah. So that's why they know each other's moves and
Yeah.
what.
Like obviously like it's kind of obvious like they would train together at some points. They would help each other
Yeah,
at some points. So obviously they're going to know each other.
yeah.
Um okay, but other than the finals of it, is there a single match in that tournament that happened that was your personal favorite other than the finals and other than any of the matches that you had?
Personally, I think it was I say Jade Jones against Chris Midas.
So the semifinals.
Yeah,
That that was another case of like two best friends because all you know
yeah,
JJ he's like a brother to me out of character and all that stuff. So yeah,
yeah,
that's another case where it's like we know each other's cause. Like we're gonna make sure that our characters put on amazing matches every single time.
yeah.
Um, well, actually, other than the open weight tournaments and all that, and again, not including your own matches, is there a match from last year that is your personal favorite that like you would go back, like you would personally go back to that event to watch that specific match over and over again?
I think that would be that's tough because there was a few.
You can name the few. You don't have to specify just one. Because I know
Um,
that's a pretty difficult answer to that's a pretty difficult question to answer with just one simple question, one simple answer.
yeah, there was like one. Yeah, for Troy Evans, Amber Reed.
Oh yeah, that was an awesome match.
Yeah, and there was Priscilla again.
Wait, Priscilla against Sue. I think your mic cut out
Yeah,
right there.
no, I'm just thinking of the second person. Oh,
Maria,
yeah, I think so. I think that was it.
was it for the EWTV title?
No, no, it was her. It was Priscilla and Ellie Page. Also,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that match. Well,
All right. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, this is a question that I'm surprised I haven't even answered yet. Haven't asked yet. Is there any is there any person that you would want to that you haven't feuded with before or had a match with before? Like, is there anybody that you would want to have a match or a feud with at some point this year?
there's a few, but um, one of them is maybe Crazy Jade. That being
Oh.
that's a maybe.
Well, I'm pretty sure he goes by JT3 now. I don't know if that's like a full name change or if
I
it's
don't
just for
know.
Mercy Pro.
I don't know. um, I do want to continue fighting APH if that still happens to be.
Yeah, I would love to see another match between you two down the road. When that
Hopefully, there's
might
no.
be, who knows?
Yeah, hopefully there's no flaming tables this time.
And if there is, he's gonna go through it again.
Or maybe both of us. You never know.
Oh boy, you're gonna do it. You're gonna do Orange Cassidy and Adam Cole.
Maybe.
Oh,
Nah.
oh man. All right. I can't really come up with any other questions. I think that's pretty much all I had to ask, and we went through all the other questions from the community. Is there anything that you're looking to do this year? Like not just goal wise or match wise, just overall. Like what are your plans for this year?
Maybe to like meet new people and stop being shy.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much going to wrap up this podcast. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about or go into at all?
Oh no, I think they've all been answered already.
All right.
Also, J Jones is in there.
Of course, he had to get that in. All right.
Well,
All right. Well, thank you, Jade, for being the first guest on the A2 podcast. It was awesome having you, and hopefully that helped ease your anxiety a bit, because I know you were very nervous going into this first podcast, and I think you did well. It was fun getting to interview you. All right. Well, is there anything that you'd like to say before we sign off?
I want to thank you for having me as your special guest for this first episode.
Yeah, of course. It was awesome having you. And to everybody that is listening in right now, if you're listening live on the premiere of this, thank you very much for tuning in and probably just having this on in the background while you're playing video games or watch or working or doing anything like that. For those that are watching this on the playback, there are timestamps down below for certain things that you could skip and such, because I know that there was some sensitive stuff that was being talked about, so I will be having timestamps if you want to be able to skip over that, if you want to skip over those or anything of that sort. But that was pretty much it. There are going to be some more people that will be on the A2 podcast over the weeks and months. If you would like to be a part of the A2 podcast, just be sure to DM the A2 Network account or the Real Frost Zone account, and you could be in the same spot that Jade's in and get to answer some questions, have a nice conversation, just hang out. And of course, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you know when we upload a video. We are trying to upload more consistent videos, and as far as the actual Axis and Artemis stuff goes, we will be back this April during Ultimate Week near the end of the month, the final week of the month, and you'll be able to get to see people like Jade. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Jade, for being a part of this.
Thank you.
And we will see you in episode 2.